The Prime Minister is looking nervously.
And I'm speaking out today in relation to Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Farage. Nigel 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 Farage.
For Labour, it is about 7,000, which means it only takes a small move for Labour in the next election to lose its majority. So I suspect that's probably what is making Labour nervous. But they're he is not in office, but he is in power, in the sense that pretty much everybody else.
And what do you think the Mayor's office had to say to these very valid concerns? Well, his team claim that London draws huge strength from the contribution of migrants, proudly citing the capital's tradition of welcoming migrants and offering sanctuary to those who need it. And that the Mayor is, of course, working hard to tackle homelessness. Sorry, what? Open defecation, public disorder, unsanitary conditions, all things noted at this site by Londoners. And the Mayor calls London a sanctuary. A sanctuary for who? People who have entered the country illegally? But there you have it, don't you? No concern for public safety, no concern for the build-up of these shanty camps. I only warned about this last Tuesday, after Patrick showed us those incredible scenes in Calais. Of course, the usual left-wingers stated that this wasn't happening.
Breaking news. Just moments ago, Nigel Farage launched what many are already calling the most devastating political attack ever seen inside the House of Commons. What followed plunged Westminster into chaos. Labour MPs fled the chamber. Cabinet ministers avoided eye contact. Keir Starmer stood frozen at the dispatch box, his face drained of colour, unable to respond as Farage dismantled everything the government has been hiding from the British public. The footage was so explosive, the BBC cut away from its live feed. Sky News anchors fell silent. What Farage revealed about secret government documents, concealed migration figures, and taxpayer money being diverted to illegal migrants while British veterans sleep on freezing streets has triggered calls for Starmer's immediate arrest. This is no longer politics. This is the public destruction of a prime minister in real time. If you think you've seen parliamentary drama before, you haven't seen anything like this. The moment Farage rose from his seat, Westminster knew something historic was coming. In one hand, a thick envelope stuffed with documents. In the other, a phone recording everything. Across the Labour front bench, nervous glances were exchanged. They knew something catastrophic was about to unfold. As Farage walked to the dispatch box, the chamber fell eerily silent. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, almost quiet, forcing every MP to lean forward. "Prime Minister," he began, "I stand here today not as leader of the opposition, but as the voice of 67 million British people who have been systematically betrayed by your government." Starmer tried to laugh it off. It came out thin and unconvincing. Then Farage revealed the first shot. He produced a stack of photographs taken at Dover in the early hours of last Tuesday. They showed Home Office officials personally escorting hundreds of illegal migrants through priority channels while British citizens waited for hours. Clear images showed migrants being fast-tracked through special corridors, handed welcome packs, and loaded onto private coaches. One photograph, Farage claimed, even showed a senior Home Office official shaking hands with a suspected people smuggler wanted by Interpol. Starmer jumped to his feet shouting, "Point of order," but it was too late. The images were already on camera. Within seconds, they were being broadcast across Britain. Social media exploded. The hashtag number Dover Betrayal began trending nationwide. But that was only the beginning. Farage then produced what he called the smoking gun, a classified 47-page Home Office report marked for ministerial eyes only. According to the document, the government had been deliberately manipulating migration figures for months. The official number presented to Parliament, 683,000 net migrants. The real number inside the report, 1.2 million. Gasps rippled across the chamber. Farage read directly from the report. The Prime Minister has instructed all departments to use adjusted methodology to reduce headline figures by approximately 43% before public release. This is not statistical adjustment. This is systematic fraud. Conservative MPs shouted, "Resign." Reform UK members stood and applauded. But what stunned the chamber most was the reaction on the Labour benches, MPs sitting in silence, heads in hands, some visibly in tears. Then Farage turned to what he said was an even deeper betrayal: British veterans. He revealed government spending figures comparing migrant accommodation with support for former soldiers. In a single month, the government spent £127 million housing illegal migrants in 4-star hotels. In that same month, veteran mental health services were cut by £23 million, support centers were closed, and thousands of disability claims from wounded soldiers were rejected. He named individual cases: a double amputee Royal Marine still waiting for accessible housing nearly 2 years after applying; a former combat medic with severe PTSD left on a 14-month waiting list for treatment after attempting suicide twice. Meanwhile, newly arrived migrants were being placed in modern apartments with generous monthly support. The chamber was silent. When Angela Rayner attempted to challenge the figures, Farage produced an email bearing her digital signature approving them. Her face drained of color. Then came the corruption allegations. Farage revealed documents showing billions in government contracts awarded to companies providing migrant accommodation companies whose directors had donated millions to the Labour Party. One donor, he claimed, gave hundreds of thousands shortly before receiving contracts worth hundreds of millions. This is not coincidence, Farage declared. This is corruption so blatant it would shame a banana republic. Starmer demanded he withdraw the claims. Farage instead played an audio recording allegedly featuring the Prime Minister's senior advisor discussing prearranged contracts. The chamber descended into uproar. And then something unprecedented happened. Labour MPs began walking out one by one, not in protest against Farage, but in rejection of their own leader. 23 MPs left the chamber in minutes. The speaker suspended the session. Outside, cameras captured arguments, shouting matches, and aides physically separating MPs. Inside, number 10, sources described total meltdown. Starmer reportedly withdrew to his office and spoke only with his lawyer. Then came the final blow. The Metropolitan Police announced they had received substantial documentary evidence of potential criminal conduct by senior government officials and had launched an immediate investigation. No one is above the law. Within hours, Labour descended into open civil war. Union leaders withdrew support. International allies expressed concern. Financial markets reacted violently. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage stood outside Parliament, projecting the calm authority of a leader ready to govern. Reform UK membership surged. Donations flooded in. Polls showed Labour collapsing. Parliament will reconvene with a no-confidence motion already tabled. If enough Labour MPs rebel, Starmer falls. The King has been briefed. Constitutional options are being prepared. Keir Starmer has not been seen since leaving Parliament. Britain is now entering uncharted territory. History is being written in real time.